I've compared it with radical Islam. They want to shut down free inquiry. You have those who are in and those who are out. They are willing, they don't want to have a conversation with you. They want to destroy you. They divide a society into subsets of groups. They deny objective truth. They're hostile to science. Hey, by the way, they say they are standing up for women and gays and transgender people and so on. But if you look at what they're saying, they're actually the most racist, misogynistic people in the world.
So I know things actually aren't that bad, although we've got a certain set of problems, but I do sense that liberalism itself seems to be being destroyed right now, that wokeism has destroyed at the academic level, what you're seeing at all of the institutions, that liberalism is in a particularly tough spot.
You are absolutely right. Liberalism, by the way, is I'd say it's probably one of the youngest of philosophies, classical liberalism. And from the time that the Enlightenment and classical liberalism emerged, it has always been under threat. And there's this beautiful golden age time when it triumphed. But that triumph was, it was like a back and forth. We only had the First and Second World Wars in the 20th century, right in that century when people seemed to be attracted to reason. And I think this is not going to stop. Liberalism is once again challenged. Now, obviously, I was really very much engaged, as you know from my background, with the challenges that political Islam presents. And the narrative of political Islam is liberalism is wrong. Individualism is wrong, universalism is wrong, and only the way they see and the utopia of their goals is the right way, and that the way you achieve that is through violence, through sacrifice, through misogyny, and through all sorts of other affronts to the idea and philosophy of liberalism. Now, what's interesting with the woke ideology is that it is actually a byproduct of liberalism, that it is a disappointment with the world. And so if you read that book, I sent it to everybody I could send it to, Cynical Theories.
I have it. I've had James on, yeah.
By two, I would say, modern day liberals, Helen Pluckrose and James Lindsay. What they're trying to show us is that if you dig deep, and that's what they've done, dig deep into the philosophies that inform what we now call wokeism, cancel culture, critical theory, critical race theory. It goes by many names. But that is an unintended consequence of liberalism. Disappointment with modernity. It's a disappointment with civilization. It's a yearning for some kind of utopia. It does use secular arguments and underpinnings, but it does have a religious quality to it. I've compared it with radical Islam. They want to shut down free inquiry. You have those who are in and those who are out. They are willing, they don't want to have a conversation with you. They want to destroy you. They divide a society into subsets of groups. They deny objective truth. They're hostile to science. Hey, by the way, they say they are standing up for women and gays and transgender people and so on. But if you look at what they're saying, they're actually the most racist, misogynistic people in the world. And so in that sense, I would say here's a new challenge to liberalism. It shouldn't surprise us. If you're a true classical liberal, you know that the challenges, ideological, philosophical challenges to liberal are they're commonplace. They'll stay with us because that's what human nature demands. And so that's why I don't want to go to a place where we are saying this is the end of liberalism or the end of free society. I think we should just how else? It's like aging,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, liberalism will forever be challenged. We just have to be aware and conscious of that. And even after radical Islam is defeated, wokeism is defeated, national socialism was defeated, and all sorts of other fascistic ideas, but it's not going to go away. Something is going to come in a new disguise that will be new to the people who will be living through that time.
Yeah, it's interesting when I talk about sort of the end of the road for liberalism, what it means to me is that now I feel that I can do much more work helping to liberalize or even use some libertarian principles with my conservative friends. That seems like a smart place to put energy for me, as opposed to trying to fix the woke part of this thing. But I think this is the challenge for all of the liberals at the moment, is sort of which way do you go?
Which way do you go? Well, what I'm seeing is, yes, you have to find allies and alliances. And if you so first of all, we have to go back to, the Americans call classical liberalism, they call it conservatism. The Europeans just call it liberalism, right, because that's where it all emerged. In any case, I think the most important thing for all of us to do right now is find that center ground. Talk to people who are on the center left, who are on the center right, and make this attempt once again to marginalize the fringes and the extremists. And in that sense, I share your concern that the center is kind of sagging right now. Mm-hmm. And we have to make this huge effort to go back there, go back to sanity.
Our work is cut out for us, my friend.
Our
work is cut out for us. All right, so I want to talk, obviously, about the book. And two things before we get into the sort of the full part of it. But on the opener of the book, on the very first page, you issue a trigger warning. And I thought that was quite interesting. It says, "This is a trigger warning for the entry book. Reading it, you should be triggered." Now, a lot of my audience is going to say, wait a minute, we don't like trigger warnings on these things. Why put a trigger warning on such a book?
Well, it's a proclamation to take on the woke. And some of the people who actually don't even know that they are woke or that they've subscribed to this ideology. And it's also my way of saying that if we want to go back to the center, in other words, if we want to address some of the most confounding issues of our day, that you have to go back to that table and in good faith and say and be open and honest. These are the problems we are having. Now, what we've seen, I work, I'm an academic. I'm in the academic space. We are constantly bombarded with, you have to be mindful of and sensitive to students feeling unsafe about this and unsafe about that, and microaggressions. And so the woke ideology that used to be fringe, it has now become mainstream. Mm-hmm. Point where, at Stanford, you just get all these emails that are telling you what you can and can't do, what you can and can't say. There's more political and philosophical activism in a way that I have never seen before. And so I think you then start with, I'm actually taking this on. I want to trigger you. I think you go to school, you go to university to learn how to think, to address, when you're admitted to university, there is an assumption that you're a grown-up, ready to take on the world and take on all sorts of challenges that come your way. If you are demanding a safe space, it was amusing a few years ago.
Mildly, yeah.
Mildly, right? Now it's just downright creepy.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.